Okay, let's talk about one of the biggest, most fascinating paradoxes in all of human health. It's this biological secret hidden deep inside our cells that really explains why we age the way we do. And trust me, the answer is just, it's wild. Let's get into it. So it all boils down to this one question. You've probably heard of it. It's called the male-female health survival paradox. See, women consistently live longer than men, but, and this is the key part, they often spend more of those later years in poorer health. So they live longer, but with more chronic illness. How does that make sense? What is really going on here?
And we're not talking about a small gap here. It's significant, 5 years. On average, around the world, women live about 5 years longer than men. Now, that's not just some statistical blip, right? It's a really fundamental difference in our biology, and it's something that's had scientists scratching their heads for a long, long time.
So to crack this mystery, we've got to go deeper. Way, way deeper, past the obvious stuff and zoom right into the microscopic level. Because the clues, they're not just in our lifestyles. They are literally written into our DNA, right at the very tips of our chromosomes.
And that brings us to what I like to call your body's secret clock. See, every single one of our cells has this built-in timer that tracks its age. It's just ticking away every time a cell divides. Okay, so what are these clocks? They're called telomeres, and the best way to think about them is like the little plastic tips on the ends of your shoelaces, you know? Just like those tips stop your laces from unraveling and fraying, telomeres protect your chromosomes. They keep all that super important genetic information inside, safe from damage. They are absolutely crucial for keeping our DNA stable.
So how does this clock actually tick down? Well, it's because of something called the end replication problem. Every single time one of your cells divides, it has to make a perfect copy of all its DNA. But here's the catch. The biological machinery that does the copying, well, it can't quite reach the very, very end of the chromosome. So what happens? A tiny little piece of that protective telomere cap gets snipped off. Every single time.
And as you can imagine, over a whole lifetime of cells dividing again and again, that little bit of shortening really adds up. Eventually, those telomeres get so short, they're basically gone. That's the signal for the cell to stop dividing for good. It enters this sort of retirement state, which scientists call senescence. And it's the buildup of these retired cells that is one of the biggest drivers of the aging process that we actually see and feel.
Okay, so now we get to the big twist. If these telomeres are the clock for everyone, why does it seem to tick at a different speed from men and women? Let's get into that. Get this, the difference starts literally from the moment we're born. Research shows that, on average, baby girls are born with longer telomeres than baby boys. So right from day one, women have a biological head start. They've got a longer fuse, a longer protective buffer on their DNA.
And that initial head start, it just gets bigger over a lifetime. Women have a few biological aces up their sleeve. For one, the hormone estrogen is a fantastic protector against cell damage. They also tend to have lower levels of something called oxidative stress. All of this means their telomeres to shorten at a much slower rate compared to men. So, let's look at these protective factors a little closer. Estrogen is a total powerhouse here. It's a great antioxidant, which means it neutralizes all these nasty cell-damaging molecules. And, this is amazing, it can even stimulate an enzyme that helps rebuild telomeres. On top of all that, having 2 X chromosomes, well, it's like having a genetic backup system, which gives women more resilience.
So, okay, we've got this biological clock. We know it ticks a little differently for men and women. But that leads us to the most important question of all, right? Are we just stuck with the clock we've got, or can we actually do something about it? Can we take the wheel?
I mean, that's the big question, isn't it? Is this biological clock just set in stone?
And the answer, which is so exciting, is a huge no. It's not fixed at all. In fact, the speed of your biological clock is super flexible. It's highly influenced by our lifestyle choices. The things we do every single day, what we eat, how much we move, even how we handle stress, all of it directly impacts how quickly our telomeres shorten.
And out of all those lifestyle factors, nutrition is a really, really powerful tool. Here's why. The right foods can directly fight the 2 biggest enemies of your telomeres, oxidative stress and inflammation. You can think of them like rust and a slow-burning fire at the cellular level. They're both just speeding up the damage to our DNA.
Okay, so that brings us to the good stuff, the what can I do about it part. Let's talk about the specific foods that can help you protect those telomeres and really support healthy aging from the inside out. All right, here we go. This is a great list of 10 superfoods for telomere health. Each one is packed with specific nutrients, things like antioxidants and anti-inflammatories that have been shown to help protect our DNA. We're going to highlight just a few of my favorites.
Let's start with salmon. The key here is omega-3 fatty acids. These are famous for being incredibly anti-inflammatory. And since we know that inflammation is like pouring gasoline on the fire of telomere shortening, getting more omega-3s is a direct way to cool things down and help preserve those protective caps.
Next up, green tea. The secret weapon in green tea is a type of antioxidant called a polyphenol, especially one called ECGC. These things are just amazing at hunting down and neutralizing those damaging free radicals that cause oxidative stress. You can seriously think of them as your own personal cellular bodyguards. And of course, we can't forget about nuts. They're just loaded with healthy fats and vitamin E, which is another fantastic antioxidant. All these nutrients work together to protect your cells and your DNA from that daily damage, which is just so important for keeping your telomeres long and healthy.
You know, when you really think about it, this all points to a much deeper idea of what health even means. And I love this quote from the source material. It's not about some desperate chase for youth. It's about getting our bodies to a place where everything is just working together in harmony. That's what true vitality is. It's just a reflection of what's going on inside.
So, I want to leave you with this idea. The power to actually influence your own biological clock is, in large part, in your hands. It's not about making some massive, crazy change overnight. It's just about the small, smart choices you make every day. So, my question to you is, what's one healthy choice you're going to make today?